Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to Kit Conspiracy with MK and Janet, and a host of others too. You need to check out the Facebook group to see what everyone else has created. I'm going to scrap this picture of Charlie, and we're at the park, and she decided she was going to rest a minute. I had to take a photo. I took a chunk out of the middle of that because I thought, well, I could fussy cut that butterfly and maybe some leaves too. And I am going to use the rub-ons and the film strips, and I already picked out which ones I thought I'd use. And I'm going to use that die set. Well, I'm going to use the leaves. Um, there's some already made up, but the the color wasn't what I was wanting. There's the color I want. And I have several stencils that I plan on using and some stamps too. That one I laid to the side is Bo Bunny I got from Debbie. And then that gray one and the other gray one are both from Stampendous. I think I called them another company yesterday, but they're Stampendous. And that first stencil is called Tree Bark. And that one is Stamperia, that real long one with the hook. And then the last one that I'm going to use first is Mr. Huey. And oh, it's probably been a year ago. I got a bunch in a bundle off of eBay. It said they were new, but I had double. So I gifted some to different friends, and because I got a really good deal on it, I had to share in my wealth. I used Lost Shadow, I believe it was, on this. I think that was the gray I used. And I sprinkled some water on it and took some off. You can't tell it so much on the camera, but in person you can see it a little better. I'm instead of using my tree bark stencil for tree bark, I am going to use some Stormy Sky. That's what it's called, and it's a really pretty color. So I'm going to put quite a bit of it on here in different places around the layout. This background's a really pretty color, but it was kind of like a tone on, well, faded tone. That's it. And even more faded in a few places. And I thought, well, I think I want to add a little bit more, but I tried to go along with similar colors, except for the green. I thought, well, I'm going to be using that greenery, so I wanted to add some green to the background. And I'm using pill paint, I believe it is. And that this blotch here, I thought, well, I'm going to spread it out in three places that I think it'll show. Well, I noticed right off the bat that one at the bottom isn't going to show. So you will see me put another spot on there in not very long at all. I'm putting the crackle, cracked. It's either called crackle or cracked. I can't remember which one. I know I keyed one or the other in when I was searching and it came up. But I think it's called Textures, is what the stamp is actually called. And this is the Bow Bunny one I got from Debbie. And this is the first time I used this darker color with it. I was kind of surprised at how uh, dark it looked because I think what my problem was, I thought I was well, when I got the Stormy Sky, I thought I was getting the dark espresso, the ground espresso. And oh well, I'll go with it. I'll go ahead and use it. And I put more on it than I would if it had been ground espresso. So then I reached over for the ground espresso just to have another color. And I was surprised when I seen how dark it was. But I went with it. And it don't look too bad. It's kind of faded out a little bit since it's dried, but it don't look too bad at all. I'm using that paper that I gutted for Charlie's photo. It looks like layered paper on, behind her. And it looks old and, kind of like parchment almost instead of actual paper. I'm using one of the frames over to the right. I considered cutting my photo down, but I really liked her sitting on that tree stump and had the rocks in front of her. Well, if I cut any off, I won't be very happy with it. So I decided I was just going to use the frame to the side. I'm going to put 2 of the film strips there. I'm not going to use the third one after all. I'm going to change my mind. But the leaves, the dye, the reason I decided to use it, I thought, well, I can layer the leaves on top of the film strip and you can still see it because of the holes in the leaves. And that's Elizabeth Craft one. And it's been out a while, but it's really, really pretty leaves. There's quite a few tags in there. And when I was getting everything ready, getting my kit ready for me to play with, I added some jute to each one of them. Only I'm going to make one in a little bit, so I'll have to get my jute out again just to add some twine to it. That some of those tickets I cut off and made shorter since they weren't going to be showing, and then some had a perforated center, well, off center. One side was longer than the other, and so I'm going to tear the perforation off of it and just use part of it. I'm going to stretch them as far as they'll go because they really look good on the layout. Here's where I realized that I was going to be covering up that blotch, and so I added another one. I am not going to leave that tree ring there though, but I'll still have it pretty much covered up. You still won't be able to see it. I'm, oh, I'm adding some leaves up there at the top. That frame at the top right hand corner, it was, well, I was watching, oh, I guess you call a preview of the nature study months ago. And I was kind of surprised. I wasn't sure what they were supposed to be. Even entered my mind that they were a mirror for a second, when I was looking at it and seeing the parts before they were talking about it. And I was thinking somebody in the very olden days, well, in the old West, they would have a mirror and be shaving outside and with a straight razor. Anyway, one of them made me think of that. And then that girl says that they were hand mirrors. And I thought, well, I guess I was close. I mean, one of them really reminds, well, the one I cut the bottom off, I believe, is the one that really reminded me of the ones sometimes they would be using in those old westerns. And yes, my dad loved them. So when I was a kid, if you wanted to watch something, you watched what my dad watched when he was home. Um, and we were his remote controls. I mean, we'd flip through channels and everything. And back then, you had to turn the antenna. And so one would be outside turning the antenna, and the other one would be in turning the channel. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. I sure do like real remote controls. If y'all ever had to be one when you were a kid, let me know down there. You'd have to be older, though, I'm sure, rather than younger. Um, oh, I'm still adding some leaves on here. I I'm going to put 3 butterflies on here. And oh, I got to tell y'all, I goofed. My little granddaughter called. Well, my son called. I take that back. My son called and he says, Hope says you want her to come spend some time with you. And I said, sure. And he laughed and he said, are you just saying that? Or did she really say, well, his words was, I wished it. And he said, here, I'll let you talk to her. She says, I knew you were wishing it. She says, Daddy didn't think so, but I knew it. And what she was wanting was she has a plan. Thanksgiving week, she's off all week. And she said that she needed to come out here and stay with me during that time. So we have a plan going on. I told her she'd come this next weekend, but no, she wanted to do it that week. So she's planning on a few days, just so y'all know. Um, oh, here's where I'm making that tag. I wanted the color to go over there. I have it up there in that little tiny frame up there at the top and on that little tag. And so I found a ticket that had some on the bottom. Well, it is the bottom of the ticket. Anyway, I punched a hole in it and put the tag and cut the corners off. But a tag with some string or twine or jute looks a lot better than a little chunk of that color. I oh I decided I needed a couple of mushrooms up there. That one, I that was the perforated edge, the one I tore off, and it looks like it's with that frame there. It was looking like it was just there and the bottom half was missing or something. So I had to fill in the spot so I'd feel better about it and it wouldn't look like it just came to a halt. I put that one butterfly down and then I pick up that other one and I'm trying to figure out where to put it and I'm thinking, it's just not doing it right. It's not, in my mind, it wasn't pictured. I had my thumb covering quite a bit of the butterfly. And I noticed that it was upside down, backwards, whatever. So I had to get the other one to replace it because that one was the right direction. But it took me a second to notice it. They sure are tiny butterflies. They're pretty, but they're tiny. And then the other ones over in that tray are really big. And I think, I really want them smaller, so I end up with the tiny ones instead. But I think I'm about out of them. That one I put back in the tray might be my last tiny one in the bunch. So I might not have butterflies in there the next layout. I'm sprinkling Mr. Huey's bookworm on here, and then that's when in fact, I had to hurry up and put the lid on it because my son was calling and asking me if I was wishing that she come. Anyway, I put some of that mesh ribbon on there, the moss mesh ribbon from Hobby Lobby in different places. And then I had these flowers and I'd made them up for another layout and never used them. And I got to thinking when I was looking at it, I thought, I'd like some flowers on here. And I remembered these when I was looking at the frame because I was trying to decide what color because I was going to punch some. And uh, remembered these and thought they're probably really close to the same color as the frame, well, the uh, paper behind Charlie's picture. And they sure are. I mean, they match it really good. And they are not actually a flower punch, it's a snowflake punch. And I just layered it twice. And then I had this little tiny, tiny punch I've had forever, and I used it on the center. It looks like the regular paper punch you'd have for an office, only it's a little tiny flower. But that's it. That's my layout. But I want to mention that down there below you'll find links to MK and Janet's channel and anybody else that I happen to find that are doing the Kit Conspiracy and making videos, plus the Facebook group. So you can go check it out and join because you can make a kit that is similar and join in. But if you leave a comment below, I'll try to get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. And those of you already are, thank you so very much. And thank you all for watching my video today. I know you could be watching plenty of others. But have a happy, scrappy week. Have fun on the hop. Bye.